Micah Parsons has just been traded to the Green Bay Packers for this trade that you see on your screen. Micah for Kenny Clark and 2 first-rounders. That wasn't the only thing that the Packers got out of it, because Micah Parsons secured a 4-year, $180 million contract, which is QB money. He's getting $47 million a year, if that's the math. Maybe it was $190 million. I'm not exactly sure. It's 180 or 190, but we're about to secure him here and make sure that we have him locked down for a simulation of his career now that he's on the Green Bay Packers. We're going to go ahead into this, go to players ready to negotiate, and look at Micah Parsons is here. He's got full re-sign interest, but we have to bump this up as high as we can do it and make sure the total is how much he got. There he is, Micah Parsons, 4-year, $180 million contract, and the simulation is going to start now. First year with the new team, we're simming to the playoffs, and we're going to see what happens in the year 2025. Micah Parsons is locked down here for 4 years, and we're going to simulate the rest of his career and see how it goes. So year 1, they make the playoffs, and we're going to see how Micah Parsons did with this new defense. Parsons, 25 sacks, NFL record 25 sacks with this new team. We're going to go ahead and look. There it is. In a season sack record, Micah Parsons, 25. He breaks the record, and we are here against the Atlanta Falcons in the wild card. They went 10-7, so a little bit of a problem with the offense. However, let's see. Do we win? Do not win. Lose in the wild card, but we still got 3 more years left of this guy's contract. I guess 4 more years now, right? It's an extension. All right, so the year is now 2026, and we're going to simulate to the playoffs and see how Micah Parsons does for this Packers team. All right, so 2026 season just wrapped up. We went 13-4, did not secure the first seed in the NFC because the Vikings went 14-3 this year. However, we're going to take a look at the defensive side of things and see how Micah Parsons did. Parsons on the year, 29.5 sacks. Yeah, that's by far the NFL record. He broke his own record, which was 25 last year. Now it's 29.5. We're going to simulate against the 10-7 New York Giants here in the wild card week and see if we can make it past the Giants. We do not make it past the Giants. We lose in the wild card yet again, but we're going to go ahead and sim to the next season and see how this team does in the year 2027. We're going to sim to the playoffs here in the year 2027 and see how Micah Parsons does this year. I mean, if he ones up it, he might be the greatest defensive player of all time. All right, we're in the wild card yet again at 9-8, winning the division this time. And we have a lot of injuries this year, but we're going to see how many sacks did he put up. 20.5 sacks for Micah Parsons. We're going to go ahead and look at his stats, by the way, on his career, because since joining Green Bay, 25, 29.5, 20.5. That is 75 sacks in 3 years. And oh my God, I just realized, wild card against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys. We are simming to next week and seeing if Parsons and this Packers team can take home a victory, and they can against the former team. Micah Parsons brings it home. He had 3 sacks against his former team. Against the longtime division rival Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to see what happens. Division rival for what team he used to be on, that is the Dallas Cowboys. And they win. What is going on? The NFC East versus Micah Parsons in the playoffs. We're going to see how many sacks he had against the Philadelphia Eagles. He had 1 sack, so he racked up 4 sacks so far in the playoffs. And we're going to sim to next week and see if we can get it done. And we're in the Super Bowl. A lot of injuries to this team, but Micah Parsons brings it home. 4 sacks against the Giants, racking up 11 total against the NFC East in the playoffs. And we are in the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens. We're just going to sim this one and see how it goes. Let's see, can Micah Parsons bring it home for the team and sack Lamar Jackson? 2027 year. Here we go. They cannot bring it home. 17-10 loss. Very unfortunate. We're going to take a look to see what happened with Parsons and if he managed to get another sack. He racked up 0 sacks in the Super Bowl. That might have been the reason why they lost, to be quite honest with you guys. I mean, he's just been absolutely dominating everybody every single year. And the one time he gets 0 sacks is in the Super Bowl. That's a tough time. They did a good job defending him, though. and 2029 is his contract year. We're in the year 2027, so there's a chance that he wins a couple Super Bowls here if he can do it in the next 2 years. All right, the year is now 2028. We're stepping into the playoffs yet again. 85 overall team. Believe that's the best overall that we've had all video. So we're going to see if they can bring home a Super Bowl this time. Made the playoffs 13-4, and that is the top seed in the NFC. So we do get a bye week. We're going to go ahead and look at defensively. Parsons put up 23 sacks. He has 98 sacks just here alone in the Green Bay Packers jerseys. I mean, 97, my bad. I'm a sack off. That is the Packers record, and he broke that in 4 years here with Green Bay. All right, so that is a divisional game against his, again, NFC East opponent, the Washington Commanders, and in the NFC Championship game against the Atlanta Falcons, finally someone other than the NFC East. And we're going to go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl and see if we can take this home. Back-to-back Super Bowl appearances from Micah Parsons and this Green Bay Packers team. We're going to go ahead and take a look at his stats in the playoffs and see how he did. So we go to the season stats here. Parsons put up 1.5 sacks. No, he put up half a sack. I lied. In the playoffs, but he did have 5 sacks in one game against the Buffalo Bills in Week 17. And this is the biggest test here. The 14-3 Chargers, 89 overall team versus the 13-4 Packers. If Parsons can bring home a sack or 2, maybe this team can win a Super Bowl with him as their edge rusher. Lost by a lot. Lost by 30 points in the Super Bowl. So Parsons is now a 2-time Super Bowl loser. Let's see if he put up any sacks at all. Season stats, half a sack against the Chargers. So unfortunately, half a sack does not get it done. If you guys want to look at him in a Packers uniform, here it is. He's wearing number 98. So let me go ahead and find out who's wearing number 11 and switch him real quick. Jaden Reed, yeah, buddy. You are no longer going to be wearing this jersey. All right, so for those of you who want to see Micah Parsons in a Green Bay uniform, here it is. Number 11, Micah Parsons. It doesn't even look real, but it is real. It is very real, actually. And we're going to go ahead and sim to next season and see what happens. Micah Parsons already has 97 sacks with this Green Bay team. No Super Bowls yet, but two appearances and not a single win yet. But hoping that this season is a win. I mean, these stats are actually ridiculous. All right, we are now simming to the playoffs. 88 overall defense, 86 overall team with the 85 offense. We are hoping that this is finally the year that Parsons can bring home a Lombardi trophy. This is also the last year on his deal, so we're going to go ahead and see if he signed a new one with the Packers in the offseason, but who knows? All right, in the wild card at 10-7, so it's been nothing but playoffs since Parsons has joined the team. We're going to see how he did this year and see if he put up 30 sacks for Micah Parsons. Oh my God. Oh, he broke his own record 3 times now. And since joining the Green Bay Packers, Parsons has 127 sacks with the team. The NFL record for sacks in a career is 200. He's already at 180, which is most of the NFL, passing Myles Garrett and Danielle Hunter. He has 180.5 sacks in his career now. I don't know if you guys really care if I'm cheating or not, but there is not a single force here. You can't even force sacks, so I don't know how that would be possible. It's just strictly the sim in the Packers defense. And yeah, going up against the division rival for Micah Parsons, the New York Giants. I'm just going to go ahead and simulate to next week and see if we can make it to the conference championship here in the year 2029. And if we can beat the Giants, we can by 10. And we're going up against the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship, the actual division rival now, since he's no longer part of the NFC East. And we're simming to the Super Bowl, and we're going to see if we can make it to 3 straight Super Bowl appearances. It would be a big feat to make. We do. The Baltimore Ravens, the team that beat us the first year in the Super Bowl, going up against Micah Parsons. We're going to take a look at his stats on the playoffs so far, and he is absolutely dominating. Oh, is he injured? You're telling me he put up 30 sacks in 13 games? That would automatically, by the way, win him MVP. I don't think there's a single question about that. That's by far the NFL record. We're going to take a look at his deal, though, and see if Parsons signed a deal here with Green Bay to stay even more. I mean, I would assume he would, but you never know. Yeah, 4 more years. He's here till 2032. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get it done against the Baltimore Ravens. Can Parsons get it done? I mean, it would be revenge for this Packers team. But I believe Parsons is indeed playing the Super Bowl. So we're going to go ahead and see if they can win. Finally bringing home a W. The Baltimore Ravens lose 28-21. And the Green Bay Packers are Super Bowl champions once again, beating the Ravens who beat them in 2027. So we're going to take a look at Parsons' stats on the Super Bowl and see if he did anything good. I don't see anything on the side, so maybe he didn't even play again. I'm assuming he did. I don't know for sure, though, but I'm assuming he did. We're going to go to contract. We're going to go to season stats here. He put up 1 sack in the Super Bowl. Like I said, the 1 sack can make a difference, and it can win you a Super Bowl. We're going to go ahead and send him next season, though. He's here till 2032, so this video is going to go until 2032 or until he retires. All right, we're simming to the playoffs here in the year 2030. He has 2 more years left here after this year, so we're going to see how he does. Here we are again in the playoffs at 10-7. And we're going to see how did Micah Parsons do this year in 2030. Parsons put up 28.5 sacks. He has the NFL record for most sacks in a career at 209. Oh my God. With the Packers alone, Parsons has put up a total of 155 sacks in his career. That is actually ridiculous. Just with the Packers, 155 sacks. And it's been, what, 5 or 6 years? Like, that is actually crazy. Losing in the wild card against the Atlanta Falcons, 40-34. But I don't even have words anymore. That is actually the craziest career sim I've ever had. That is an NFL record. Most sacks in a career. And we're simming it next season. Like I said, he's here till 2032. He is already a Super Bowl champion. He's been to 3 total. 3 in a row, too. But he is a Super Bowl champion. He's the NFL record holder for sacks in a career, sacks in a season, sacks with the Green Bay Packers. The best player all time? And if it's not the best player all time, he is the best defensive player by a mile ever. All right, 2031, simming to the playoffs, 87 overall team, 88 overall defense, 87 overall offense. We're simming to the playoffs and see how this team does. We got to be getting close to the end of Micah Parsons' career. It's already 2031, so I don't know. In the wild card again, so we have not missed a single playoff with Micah Parsons on this defense. We're going to go ahead and sort by the defense and see 15.5 sacks. The regression is finally hitting. However, 15.5 sacks is really good for anybody who's not named Micah Parsons in the year 2031. So his contract, he's here till 2032. And he still put up 15.5, which, by the way, would have been his most in a career if he were to ever do it before the 25, 29, 20, whatever. If he were to just put up 15.5 his first year with the Packers, that would have been his most sacks in his season. So we're going to go into the NFL record book. He has 224 sacks on his career. This might be his final year in the league, but I could see him go another 1 or 2 years at this point. He's been in the league for 10 years, 224.5 sacks to his name. We're going to go ahead and sim this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 9-8 Green Bay Packers in the wild card. Can they take it home and beat the Buccaneers? Cannot. 26-16. We've seen a lot of playoff victories here in this video. We've been to 3 straight Super Bowls, but we only have 1 Super Bowl win. We're going to go ahead and sim to next season. I'm going to take a risk here. Stop the sim at off season and see if Micah Parsons does retire before his contract is up. Like I said, I highly doubt it, but you never know. Players do this all the time where they retire before the contract is up. And there it is. Exactly why I stopped the sim. Micah Parsons is retiring from the NFL in the year 2031. We're going to go ahead and take a look at his stats on the legacy leaderboard. Micah Parsons, 41,196 legacy score, 1 Super Bowl, 3 appearances, 22 yearly awards, and the NFL record for most sacks in a career at 224. With joining the Packers, Micah Parsons had 170 sacks.